trying to say is that Param Gurudev and our Gurudev and Vaman Maharaj, they kept the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They kept the teachings of right, cool, perfect. Awesome. Thank you for unmuting myself. So that's the key thing. So why I'm coming down to this? Because it's very important that you have to understand. Gurudev is saying, you have to have Nishta in your Guru. Gurudev said to me one time, again, walking in Mathura, in the morning walk, Gurudev said, Prabhupada disciples, Swami Prabhupada disciples, they have Guru Nishta. If Prabhupada will say jump, they'll jump. Prabhupada will say jump from this mountain, they will jump. And they have. If Prabhupada disciples, they have. That's why when we meet them and we serve them or do anything for them or glorify them, our heart feels good. Because they at some point, or they have served the Guru with full Guru Nishta. So Gurudev said, my disciples don't have Guru Nishta. They will teach they will teach against what I've taught. Gurudev said that. And I said, but Gurudev, your disciples, we will take this mission and we'll make sure that your teachings are sustained. And Gurudev said, we'll see. And he said, a dark period is coming and you'll see. And I did not understand that till recently. And it's really like, sometimes I feel like, what was the condition of Advaita Acharya? Advaita Acharya is seeing the condition before Mahaprabhu was born, like how like the whole world was burning because the world was deviating from the teachings of Vedanta, Vedas, And like this, slowly, I feel like slowly the name Srila Gurudev, that's gone. Somebody else has taken it. Everybody's Srila Gurudev now. And that desire for Pratishtha, that is flame, the fire, that is like burning in everybody's heart, is burning the whole village, basically, everywhere. Gurudev never wanted Pratishtha. He never wanted anything for himself. He just wanted to have Maitri. Maitri means friendship with everybody and help everybody. He just wanted to help Prabhupada's disciple. He was banned for that, but he didn't care. He said, okay, you know what? Let me be banned, but I'll still keep on doing my duty till the end if I can. And he did. Even those people who came to him, visit him on the last days in Jagannath Puri or in Vrindavan, in Delhi, all Prabhupada disciples, whenever they came, Gurudev made an extra effort to say Hare Krishna, talk to them, or at least he told them, don't worry, I forgive you. That is our Gurudev. Very forgiving. Kirtan, anybody who did anything for him, he gave his life to that person. I mean, you guys, you know it, Yasodanandan Prabhu, he gave everything for Gurudev. And I remember when Gurudev used to come, Gurudev his eyes used to tear up in happiness and also in emotion. I've seen it with my own eyes, So that was Gurudev was always Kirtan. Thank you for what you did for me. You remember 10 years back, you did that for me. 30 years back, you did that for me. Remember, Gurudev will remember those things. So one thing Gurudev is saying in his lecture of Guru Nishtha in Hindi that he just recently gave, we are very fortunate that we have come in this line of our Gurudev. We are very fortunate that we got our Gurudev as our Guru. No need to reinvent him. We should definitely respect all the Vaishnavas. This is not the message. Everybody should respect every Vaishnav, not only Vaishnav, even a tree. That's our teachings. Even an animal. What to think about a Vaishnav who has actually taken tilak? And not Vaishnav from just our Sangha. Vaishnav from other Gaudiya Maths or from even other Char Vaishnav Sampradaya. Even those people who are Mayavadi, do not criticize them because you don't want their quality to come to you. Gurudev said, do not criticize them. You see, we can be like a swan. We can take good things from everything. But that doesn't mean that we have to start following everybody. We have to follow our Gurudev. We have to, take teachings of our Gurudev. We have to understand what Gurudev is giving here. I mean, this is a classical example. Gaudiya Giti Guch. Shakshat Dharitvena. That is understood. I mean, if that person will listen to Gurudev's lecture and listen to what's there, they will understand, oh my God, there's a difference. That is the quality of a Gurudev. He is telling us those one word that we are seeing, obviously. Like when I give my test, I'm giving some test for some material things. I always forget to read except or not true, because I always in my question answers, I forget okay, I don't even read except. I just go ahead and say, okay, this is, and I get wrong answers. So it's like this, we read so quickly and we say, okay, this is what it is. But actually, when you go deeper and further deeper, and then when you actually go to a great Vaishnav and Gurudev especially, who has dedicated his life, 1954, he came to Mathura. 1948, he came to his Gurudev. Before that, he was always under the guidance of his guru. Brahmin families back in the days were very, very, he came from a poor Brahmin family. They were not rich, but they were rich in bhakti. They were Ram Bhakt. They were always in Sanskrit. They were always reading about shloka, shastras. And when Gurudev came, he was already expert at so many things. And then he translated books. He established Mathura Math. He established the philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in Mathura, in Vrindavan. And then later on, Gurudev become he went around the world and he picked all of us one after another. He was suffering and then he picked all of us. And then he installed this bhakti in us. And one thing that he wanted us to do in the future is to carry on his mission. Understand his word and repeat those words. Understand his word, repeat this. Respect everybody. Go listen from other people. Take their instructions. Do whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to understand who really came to Gurudev, who spent time with him. Gurudev was here for many, many years, 92 years. Who came and took instructions from him, who actually sat down with him when Gurudev was in Vrindavan and Govardhan and actually served him. So you have to look at all those factors. When Ramanujarya, I'm going to finish with this. When Ramanujarya, he left, his Guru Maharaj when at Samadhi told him that, his Samadhi, they told that he's the next Acharya. For 10 years or 11 years, he served all his god brothers who had served his Guru. And from every god brother, he went and understood everything. For 9 months, he stayed with one. 3 months, he stayed with one. 1 month. And like this for 9 to 11 years, he learned everything about all the teachings of his Guru. Now, this is Ramanujarya, who's Lakshman himself. One of the 4 acharyas. He took all the teachings from those who were around his Gurudev and understood his Guru. And then he started preaching around the world.
1.5 minutes, Prabhu.
Maharaj teaching. So, how many minutes? 2 minutes?
1.5.
Okay, yeah. So, on this great day of Srila Gurudev's appearance day, I'm hoping that Gurudev appear in our heart. He appears in our vision. He appear on our jiva, our tongue, so that we can speak about him, speak about his Harikatha. We get strength so that without so many great devotees, they have given up their life for the teachings, for teaching the teachings of their Guru. So if that has to happen, let it be. If fame, defame, whatever comes, let it be. But give us strength so that those who are sincere and who want to teach Gurudev's real teaching, give them strength to me also. Give me strength so that I can touch some of what Gurudev is trying to give. Vancha kalpatrubhesha kripa sindhubhevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Jai Srila Gurudev Maharaj ki jai.
Hari Bol, Pankaj. Well, listen, whatever you're on, I want some of that. That was fantastic. Absolutely beautiful offering. It was loyal. It was fierce. It was full of tattva. It came from the heart. It really, and I could see because a lot of comments came in echoing that. there's so much in there. I loved what you said about crying for Gurudev. That's the basis for everything, is to cry for Gurudev. Gurudev is actually our everything. Without Gurudev, we don't even get to the starting line. And you stressed the importance of anugat. And I just thought, just developing the anugat is at two levels. There's anugat tatvikli, there's anugat rasik, and there's anugat in the underlying mood. So like when we think of Gurudev, we've got all of his philosophy that we adhere to and that we debate, rigorously. And then there's all the whole rasik side, which is more poetic, but also requires to be disciplined. But then his whole mood, which is almost difficult to describe in words, but that's really what we want to be copying, what we want to be imbibing. So that's what I got from your reference to anugat. And yes, he's come to give something. You said very, very, I want to just highlight, you said very, very specific. You said he's come to reveal the teachings of Mahaprabhu through Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami through Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. That's a very, very specific line. And I loved it when you said, I'm going to quote your words, you said, he came and chose all of us individually and installed bhakti in each one of us. Because he didn't come to establish temples. He came to establish a temple in each one of us, each one of our hearts. And I think what you said today really expressed that nicely. Thank you so much, Prabhu. That was beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for your seva, Prabhu. You have done a lot for Gurudev in every way.
No, you're right. What you're saying, though, you do a little for Gurudev, and he was always so thankful. He is always so thankful. He reciprocates a billion times fold to whatever you render. He's always reciprocating.
But Gurudev used to hug you. His this thing used to get wet, crying.
Really?
I remember.
And well, you have to tell me that privately. Okay, so we're off to LA to go to Sundara. He was logging on. Is he there, Prabhu? Are you there, my friend? Calling LA. If LA is not there, we will go to Ramananda. London calling LA. Call to Sundara. Okay. I'll give this 60 seconds. Ram, are you ready to go on in case... I know Gaura's logging on. He just may have some technical issues. Okay. Ram, you're on, buddy. Slight switch in the schedule then. I'm going to introduce my beloved brother, Sriman Ramananda Prabhu, whose dear wife gave such a beautiful, beautiful Pushpanjali earlier, Srimati Sudevi Didi. Ram joined ISKCON in 1992. I think you all know Ram, but just in case you don't. And he took Harinam in 96 and Diksha in 99, right, Ram?
Yes.
Yes. So please, 25 minutes. Very excited to hear your Pushpanjali. And thank you for speaking so late, by the way. Haribol.
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Namaha has got a new meaning after Vipin Prabhu explained it, so I'm being more sincere in my Namaha. First of all, I offer my most humble Dandavat Pranam unto the lotus feet of my Paramaradhitam Gurudeva Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribrajikacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Sriman Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and beg for his causeless mercy, his heartly blessings. Thereafter unto all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in our Guru Parampara, all present, my Dandavat Pranam. So today we have, like Christmas Eve, we have Vyas Puja Eve, and it really got late into the eve as well, by the way. It's the appearance of our Srila Gurudev, as many have already mentioned. It's the appearance of our Srila Gurudev not just into this physical world in 1921, but also into our hearts. And I'd like to remember how Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Gaura Sundar Prabhu is here, by the way. Should I just let him go, or?
Carry on.
No, he's nodding. No, okay. Yes. So Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he explains in this article, Vaishnava K, that we do not have the adhikar to recognize who is Vaishnava. And sometimes we don't even know when the Vaishnavas are in our life already. And he gives a beautiful example of the baby inside the womb of the mother, not knowing who the mother is. And I feel like we have been and are already in this stage where we are like the baby in the womb, but we are like, where is Gurudev? Where has he gone? But actually we are surrounded by Gurudev. Gurudev is everywhere where we look. When Srila Gurudev was asked by some disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada where Prabhupada is now, Srila Gurudev said, I will give an answer I've never given before, which is that he is everywhere. He's in every single atom. Likewise, our Srila Gurudev is present everywhere in every single atom because he is near and dearest to the divine couple Radha Krishna who are present everywhere. So there is nowhere our Gurudev is not. There's no question of disappearance or not being present. He's right here, right now in the Zoom call. He's present in his pictures, in his deities, in the classes that are being posted on YouTube by the Audio Seva team, the books that are being published, the book that Madhuvrat Prabhu presented. Srila Gurudev is everywhere and he is present everywhere. And we hear from so many different acharyas again and again how after the so-called disappearance, the relationship with Sri Guru only becomes more deeper. So this is something really exciting to look forward for if we don't have this. I just have this little Prabhupada calendar and it's probably going to be mirrored, but it came to a day where it says Srila Prabhupada is saying, yeah, you can't see it. The ecstasy of separation from the spiritual master is even greater ecstasy than meeting with him. The separation ecstasy is greater. And this is a letter to...
So basically right now, like my receipt has all of the information.
I'm going to mute everybody, Prabhu, and then unmute you, and then you unmute you, okay? Okay.
So this is a letter to Shamarani Didi, in which Srila Prabhupada is saying how the ecstasy of separation from the spiritual master is even greater. So I don't know what this ecstasy is like, but hearing this from Srila Gurudev, Srila Puri Maharaj, Srila Param Gurudev, and Gurudev about this ecstasy, about this meeting and separation being greater, an eagerness comes to go for this challenge, to find out, because we have all experienced being in Srila Gurudev's presence for 14 years, if not longer. And now we get to hear that there is an even deeper relationship that we can have with Srila Gurudev is a source of great joy, I find. And there's one particular story that I'd like to share. It's about a child who visits. I'm not revealing the details of the person because they could get in trouble with the family. But there's one child who regularly visits one of their grandparents' home. The grandparent is actually a devotee and has a picture of Srila Gurudev in the house. And this child, who is like 8 years old, is growing up in a family that are not devotees at all, and regularly visits this grandparent's house. And one day, the grandparent was talking to the child, and at one point, the child turned to Srila Gurudev's picture and goes, "What? What?" to the picture of Srila Gurudev. The grandparent asks the child, what's going on? What do you mean, what? And then the child says, oh, he keeps talking to me. And the grandparent asks, oh, what does he say? What goes on? And like this, days continue that one day the grandparent comes back and finds the child chanting on their mala. This child is not a devotee. The parents are not chanting, but the child is on the mala chanting, and she is a bit disturbed, like, why is this child on my mala, personal mala, you don't really want to give to someone else? Asked the child, how did this happen? Why are you? And the child says, oh, pointing at the picture of Gurudev, he was showing me how to do this. He is telling me how to do this. A few days later, this person is offering their food to Krishna. And again, the grandparent is like, what's going on? It's like, oh, pointing at the picture of Gurudev, he is telling me that I need to offer my food to Krishna. So this is just a simple story to illustrate how, and this happened recently. just to illustrate that Srila Gurudeva is fully present. He's fully here with us. We say Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Paribrajak Acharya, but when we say Nityalila Pravisht, when we say entered into Nityalila, which Gurudev always is, we remove the Paribrajak Acharya part, because Paribrajak Acharya means that person who is traveling around this world. But really we can see how Srila Gurudev is still traveling all around the world, going to all our hearts, appearing in people's dreams, on their doorsteps, in pictures, in deities, etc. So it's very important to realize that Srila Gurudev is always present and that we can tap in and be with him anywhere, in any place. And that's super exciting. I recently heard a class on the Audio Seva theme where Srila Gurudev was speaking. I think it was in Brazil or Venezuela, because there was a translation, where he said that we all hear that we have to become. Srila Gurudev has said, if you want to please me, become like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. We've all heard this so many times. But Srila Gurudev said that we've misunderstood this instruction, and we've started to fast, not eat grains, only drink buttermilk, have specific form of renunciation like his, wear our tilak in a certain way like he did. But this doesn't mean that we've become like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And when I heard this class, I thought it was really interesting, and I kept it in mind. And a few weeks later, I went to visit Sudevi's father, Budhara Prabhu and Lalita, and he actually did my astrology, and he brought back the same point. He said, don't try to be like Raghunath Das Goswami in an external way. This is not what Srila Gurudev wants from us. And really it takes, I mean, how much time does it take for us to become a devotee, externally speaking? 10, 15 minutes, put on a dhoti, put on satilak, neck beads, and boom, we're a devotee, externally speaking. It doesn't take that long, 10, 15 minutes, and you're a devotee. But to become a devotee on the inside, that takes much longer. And we've heard so many people already say how Srila Gurudev came to the West to make our hearts into temples. Srila Gurudev came to Holland first in May 1996. And one of the first things he also said is that I came to make your hearts, I came to make your hearts into temples. So this is really, I think what I'm trying to focus on is, what is that next book? Oh, it takes 15 minutes. Yes, to make this relationship with Srila Gurudev personal. And we hear so many people saying, oh, I didn't have a personal relationship with Gurudev. I didn't see or didn't get a personal instruction. But really, if you think about it, every single class that comes out on YouTube every single day, if we hear that he's speaking to me personally, every single purport of Srila Prabhupada that we read, we should read, De Ramananda, and then Srila Prabhupada is speaking this to me. And the same with Gurudev. Every single page that Gurudev wrote, he wrote to me. If all of us see it in this way, that our relationship with Gurudev is only just starting and only getting deeper and deeper. So we need to celebrate the appearance of Srila Gurudev in the pages of his books, on the YouTube pages, on Zoom pages, in this group, in our hearts. Srila Gurudev is appearing, and we should be super happy. So Srila Gurudev ki jai. I'll stop here to save some time. Kripa Sindhu Bevacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Hey, Ram, that was short but really beautiful. I was thinking, you've got to be Moon in Cancer, but let's not go there. I loved what he said about he's present. Of course, he's present everywhere because he's closer to us than the air that we breathe. And I personally, my personal experience actually, although while in the Vapu period, I had a very close relationship with Gurudev, I definitely feel closer to Gurudev in separation than when he was on the planet, actually. I'm almost don't know how to put that in words, why that is. I think it's because you're not limited as a conditioned soul. You're not so limited by your material projection. So you have to go deeper. You have to go deeper when you're in separation. And your point about, I loved it when Rag was so funny, how to become a devotee in 15 minutes. And there's another book called 7 Things to Do to Become a Good Devotee. But But I was thinking about how you were saying it's easy to be a devotee externally, internally takes time. And that reminds me of that beautiful muffin story where Srila Gurudev is brought a muffin by a lady in Hawaii, I've forgotten her name now. She was on a Bhakti Zoom show, and she offered him a muffin, and Maharaj told him, "No way, you having that muffin." So Gurudev pretended to be good and left the muffin on the tray. And then when they put the tray away at night, Madhav Maharaj was cleaning up, I think, with Didi, and realized that Gurudev had actually managed to eke out and eat all the inside of the muffin and leave the external there, which I always thought metaphorically is what he's doing with us, because his first instruction to me was business is your bhajan. So it was like, stay married, stay doing your business, externally nothing changes, but I want your heart, and I'm going to operate on your heart. So definitely true, and that's what we've got to focus on, right? So thank you very much, Raman. Thank you for your emceeing, and also for your kirtan. You've done kirtan, emceeing, speaking, supporting your wife speaking. You've done the whole thing. Beautiful. Great saver. Thank you so much. We are going to move over to LA. I always love to introduce Sriman Sundar Prabhu, because you never know what he's going to come up with. It's always going to be super exhilarating. He is, sorry, no pressure, Prabhu, no pressure. Prabhuji joined, I think everyone knows Gaura Sundar. I'm just rattling through my notes here. Here they are. He actually joined the devotees age 7 in 1972 in Toronto, in Canada. And he met Srila Prabhupada when he was only 9 years old, giving him garlands directly. Wow, what a memory that must be. Sure. And he was too young to take initiation. He did take Harinama Diksha in 78 and 79, but then took them again from Srila Gurudev in 2006. He's a wonderful personality, a beautiful devotee, an artist, and a film producer. And I don't want to steal any minutes from you, Prabhu. The Vyasa is yours for the next 25 minutes. Hari Bol.
Hi, Dhanavad. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishiman Bhakti Vedanta Narahari Nitinamane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Sunyavari Pastyatya Deshatarne. Om Jnana Timanandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Nalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandra Radhikaya Talale Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's a great pleasure to be with all the devotees, seeing especially Yasodanandan Prabhu again. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and I was missing him, and it's so wonderful to be with him again. He's the heart and soul of this Bhakti Seva team. And on this most auspicious occasion of the Avirbhav of Srila Gurudev, by the mercy and invitation of the Bhakti Seva team, we've been gathered here to see if we can say some words of glorification to our beloved Srila Gurudev. Srila Gurudev Narayan Goswami Maharaj really tilted the axis of all Gaudiya Vaishnavism, shifting it permanently and unequivocally to the lotus feet of Srimati Radhikaji, where it now permanently rests, now firmly forevermore, when previously it did not. Had he not come, this would not have occurred. Had he not come, we would not have this goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism defined very clearly and unequivocally for us. Previously, it was very hazy in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. What is the actual goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism? So Srila Gurudev Narayan Goswami Maharaj, he definitively and boldly declares this for all time's sake, that it is Madhurya Manjari Bhav, otherwise known as Radha Dasyan. Had he not come, we would not have entrance into the Gana of Srimati Radhikaji, to the Astasakis, the Astamanjaris. We would not have these samskars etched into our heart that he himself has carved, and onto the chitta, onto our chitta, on the canvas of our chitta, the he has painted these wonderful Braj pastimes in order to give us the samskars necessary to become citizens of that world. So his role is absolutely indispensable, being the topmost Braj Premacharya of our time par excellence. He is the cherry, I've said this before, on Prabhupada's cake. He is the roof on Prabhupada's foundation. He represents the other leg of the compass that circumambulates and encircles and completes all Vedic thought, which is the Raganuga conception that is first firmly anchored by the other leg, which is the Vaidhi conception given to us first by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So he is an acharya that's come to complete the preaching template. He's come to complete the relay race that A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has started. And he's the finisher. He's the Prem Prayojan Acharya. He's the Sadhya Acharya. So he's the finisher. He's the one that finishes the race and tells us where it all ends, which is Madhurya Manjari Bhav and the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika Ji. Srila Prabhupada, he came to give us Vaidhi Bhakti due to lack of time. And Srila Gurudev came to give us Raganuga Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada gave us the Aishvarya conception of Krishna, and Srila Gurudev comes to give us the Madhurya conception of Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada came to give us Vaikuntha Prem, and Srila Gurudev comes to give us Vraj Prem. Srila Prabhupada gave us the Tattva Gyan, and Srila Gurudev's come to give us Rasa Tattva. Srila Prabhupada gave us, I think I said this, maybe the Aishvarya conception of the Lord, and Gurudev is giving us the Madhurya conception, and Srila Gurudev Prabhupada has given us the external mood of Mahaprabhu, and Srila Gurudev has come to give us the internal mood of Mahaprabhu. And together they both complete the entire picture of the Godhead and the entire picture of the Siddhant. Srila Prabhupada again giving us the Vishaya Bhagavan conception, and Srila Gurudev coming to give us the Ashraya Bhagavan conception. So they are both indispensable to one another. They're the two jigsaw puzzle pieces that Mahaprabhu is putting together for us in the hearts of all the Jiva souls in this Danya Kali Yuga, most fortunate Kali Yuga, to give us the complete picture of the Godhead and the mercy that he wishes to bestow and inundate the world with. So this Braj Prem comes only into this universe once every 8,640,000,000 years. So an acharya like Srila Gurudev comes into the material world and into this material universe once every 8,640,000,000 years to inundate the world with Braj Prem as one of Mahaprabhu's eternal associates. So his estimation and his significance and what he has come to give really can't be calculated or quantified, because the whole earth has waited 8,640,000,000 years for his foot dust to come here to carry out this colossal, really unheard of mission to give the highest thing to the lowest of the low. In Madhurya Kadambini, Mahaprabhu is called Niramkusa Maha Madhurya Kadambini, which is an uncontrollable, Niramkusa means a goad that has no control, an elephant that has no goad. And Maha Madhurya Kadambini is the biggest, largest cloud bank of Madhurya Rasa. So Mahaprabhu is an elephant without a goad, this huge cloud bank that's completely unrestricted and is flooding the entire world with Braja Prem, from the highest mountain to the lowest valley, from the biggest ocean to the tiniest stream, from the most exalted human to the worst piece of stool. Everyone is qualified in this Danya Kali Yuga to get this deluge of Braja Prem that Mahaprabhu has come to give, and to be given the eligibility to enter in. And Srila Gurudev is his foremost instrument in the modern world in disseminating this Braja Prem, being the topmost Braja Prem Acharya of our time, par excellence. So again, his position in the pantheon of all acharyas is really quite really off the charts. He is really the end time acharya. He finishes the tattva, he finishes the race. He says that it all ends at Srimati Radhikaji's lotus feet, which is where all the tattva starts and where it ends. He is the tip of the tattva triangle, and Srila Prabhupada is the base of the triangle. The same tattva triangle, both of them are giving the same tattva, but Prabhupada gives it from the base of the triangle, Gurudev gives it from the tip of the triangle. Same tattva, but from two different perspectives. So they really represent the left and right ventricles of Srimati Radhikaji's heart. The left atrium and the left ventricle belongs to Srila Gurudev, being a left winger and a left wing gopi. And the right one is Srila Prabhupada. And so these two pieces, these two chambers of the heart are really what gives us access fully to the Godhead, both the Vaidhi and the Raganuga conception. So they're both indispensable. We know they had such a great, their relationship together was extremely intimate. And one rolled the chapatis, as it's been said, and the other one cooked them. Prabhupada was a roller of the chapatis in the mud, and Srila Gurudev cooked them. And everything really in Srila Gurudev's life is telling about what his mission is going to be. If you know, in school, he was a runner. And in Raganuga Bhakti, you run. Then when he was grown up, he was a policeman. And policemen, they safeguard and protect. And that's what Gurudev did. He safeguarded and protected the Siddhanta, which needed some refortification because it was distributed in a very, in a way by Srila Prabhupada that he had to emphasize certain things and de-emphasize certain things. So Srila Gurudev is really the electron microscope, high-powered electron microscope that's capable, uniquely qualified to go into the depths and peer into the depths of Srila Prabhupada's books to unearth these great gems, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, lapis lazuli stones that exist right underneath the text of Srila Prabhupada's works, and bring them to the surface. So he is really the great miner in bringing them to the surface, because everything is in Prabhupada's books, especially this the second template that Srila Gurudev wants to give, but it exists in sutra form only. It's only in sutra form. So Srila Gurudev's job is to expand the sutra of Raganuga Bhakti. That's in Prabhupada's book, but only in sutra form. The Radha Dasyam concept, which is in Prabhupada's books, but only in sutra form, as he speaks about the gopis being the highest devotees, and that is really what we should aspire for. So had he not come, we would not have the qualification to enter into the citizenry of Braj. And so he is not only created the door to Braj, but he is the very door itself for us. And Prabhupada introduces us to the theater of Sri Krishna's pastimes and offers us a front row seat. But Srila Gurudev then comes, shows up, and gives us a backstage pass. So this personality, we're celebrating the 102nd anniversary of his appearance on this earth, is really a very confidential, exclusive end-time acharya that's come to complete the relay race and cross the finish line that all the Guru Varga have been running to boldly declare where all of Gaudiya Vaishnavism ends, which again, I said earlier, was previously hazy, and that is Madhurya Manjari Bhav, Radha Dasyam, which Srila Gurudev in his peerless Harikatha has been etching on our hearts the samskars necessary to get there or get closer to it in subsequent lives. Earlier in the broadcast, the devotee, the Prabhu, I met him very nicely in Kartik. He was saying that Gurudev is more, and you were saying it too, Yasodanandan Prabhu, more present now, it seems, than even in his physical presence of some devotees. And this is actually affirmed by Srila Gurudev himself. He said, I actually received more instructions from Bhakti Brighan Keshav Goswami Maharaj after he disappeared than in his own very own presence. So Srila Gurudev, being a Kanda Guru Tattva, he exists not only in the very core of our hearts, but is in the very nucleus of all of our cells, guiding us continually to continue to cultivate these Braj Prem samskars that represent the highest gift ever given to any jiva soul and the highest elixir of transcendental rasa that can be given to any transcendentalist. So on this most blessed Abhirbhav Appearance Day celebration of Srila Gurudev, we're praying that he continue to shepherd us and guide us in deepening these Braja Prem samskars, developing the greed for them, and allowing us to enter into the inner groves and inner sanctums of the Kunjas of Braj, where our Swamini and Ramana Manjari is there serving, so that we can join them both and achieve the highest ecstasy that is available to any jiva soul, which is Madhurya Manjari Bhav, the Adi Rasa from which all rasas come, and which is only available to the jiva souls once every 8,640,000,000 years. So I want to offer 8,640,000,000 koti dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Srila Gurudev for coming in as the ambassador of Mahaprabhu into the Danya Kali Yuga to complete the preaching template of Srila Prabhupada, putting the roof on his house that Mahaprabhu wishes to build in the hearts of all the jiva souls in the Danya Kali Yuga, and completing the picture and the sadhya, the goal that previously we were not aware of. So we were kind of going in Gaudiya Vaishnavism in the dark about where it's all headed. We talk about going back home, back to Godhead, but that's a very big place. Where do we go? What incarnation do we serve? Who is our Ishtadev? Who should be our Ishtadev? What is the highest rasa? What rasa actually controls Krishna completely? Which rasas partly control him? All of this has been given by Srila Gurudev to make us one-pointed, to achieve that which Mahaprabhu deeply wants to give to every jiva soul, because he is in debt to the gopis as Sri Krishna, and we represent, we're all collateral. We're the debt payments that Mahaprabhu needs to make and wants to make, that he has to pay back the gopis with. He is in debt to the gopis, he's not in debt to the cowherd boys, and so he has to pay them back in Manjari bills. Cowherd boy bills will not work. So Gurudev has come to help Mahaprabhu alleviate himself of this debt by distributing Madhurya Manjari Bhav to all the jiva souls in this world. And for this, he is known, he will always be known in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. His name is in bold letters as the topmost Braja Prem Manjari Bhav Premacharya of our time. So with that, I will just leave at your lotus feet to all the Vaishnavas. I'm praying to associate with you at some upcoming festivals. I see Srila Gurudev in all of your hearts. You're all extremely special, being the recipients of this highest of all jackpots, coming every 8,640,000,000 years. And every time I see you, my heart melts, because I realize that Srila Gurudev is proof that absolutely everyone is eligible in the Danya Kali Yuga to receive this Unnata Ujvala Rasa Svabhakti Shriyam Manjari Bhav, from the highest to the lowest. And that is a testament to the unending, enduring mercy of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narahari Goswami Maharaj, being the primary ambassador of Braj Prem of both Srila Rupa Goswami Pad and Sriman Mahaprabhu himself. Jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Prabhu, that's beautiful. There are a couple of things you said, because that allegory you've spoken about before, but you've elaborated more, and I love, and you used some different languaging. I love what you said about bestowing the samskars on our chitta so that we can become citizens of Braj. I think that was just delicious. And it's very clever what you said about how Prabhupada gave us the front seat view of the Krishna pastimes, and Gurudev gave us a backstage pass. And I wanted to emphasize something just for clarity. When Prabhu gives this allegory, he's painting an eternal transcendental dance between Prabhupada and Gurudev. He's not establishing any superiority between either, quite the reverse. And what he's actually saying, forgive me if you correct me if I'm wrong, is that everything that Gurudev gave is in Prabhupada's books, and everything that Gurudev has as a perspective, Prabhupada has a perspective too, the same. However, because of time and circumstances, the two acharyas have different emphasis of their missions because of the receptivity of the devotees around the world. And therefore he's explaining to us how they're in this transcendental dance. So it's a very beautiful integration between these two personalities, and just demonstrates how their love and affection for one another has actually flowed into this incredible seva.
One thing I'd like to clarify, Manjari said a very nice thing. He said Prabhupada came to give Vaidhi Bhakti, but that is not what he came to give. That is correct. He didn't have the time. Prabhupada has come to give Braj Prem. Prabhupada's come to give Raganuga Bhakti. Prabhupada's come to give the cherry on top of the cake. But Prabhupada didn't have the time. He had to lay the foundation first. So he creates the field and plows the field so that the seeds of Braj Prem can be planted by Srila Gurudev. So you can't plant these Braj Prem seeds in a ground that's not fertile. So really the entire architect of for us, he's the principal architect of Mahaprabhu's mission in the West is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. But there's stages of doing that. You have to first plow the field. Srila Prabhupada is the topmost Braj Premacharya of our time also, but I'm talking about in terms of what it is that they were capable of preaching in their time, place, and circumstance. Because it had to be done in stages. They all have the same mission, Madhurya Manjari Bhav, Radha Dasya. Gurudev just kind of highlights that. Because when Prabhupada, if you notice, Prabhupada gives Krishna Tattva. He doesn't give Radha Tattva so much. He keeps Radharani in the background a bit. And that's because you have to have Krishna Tattva first, because he's the alambana, he's the support of the gopis. You have to know who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. And then we get introduced to the Supreme Personality of Sarvata Godhead, Srimati Radhika. And so really, Srila Gurudev represents Srimati Radharani's coming out party. You know, now she comes into the foreground. Before she was in the background. Prabhupada puts her in the background first, and then Gurudev puts her in the foreground, because you have to have the Vishaya Bhagavan and the Ashraya Bhagavan. So it's not one has come to just give one thing, another one's just come another. No, it's just that it's the progression according to the pupils in the West who are being introduced to the subject. It has to go in stages to get to the top.
Yeah.
So they have one mission.
Just imagine if it had been the other way around, it would have been a disaster.
If why did Mahaprabhu not send Gurudev first? It wouldn't make any sense. We wouldn't be able to understand anything. So Prabhupada's essential. He's the bedrock acharya. He creates the field, and then the seeds of Braj Prem can then be planted by Srila Gurudev. So Prabhupada is, without him, there is nothing. Nothing.
And Prabhu, what you said, I loved it. Now I have a new identity. This morning, I was encouraged to be a cow, and then I was encouraged to be a baby, so I became a baby cow. But now I'm a Manjari Bill. That is absolutely brilliant. I love that. That's. I've never thought of that. That's absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much.
Mercy.
Thank you. Very well.
Jai.
So I'm going to hand the emceeing back to Ramananda for the last speaker.
Yeah.
Put myself in the spotlight. Yep. Okay, so for the next speaker, I'm going to do a little introduction. It's
Make it
a
brief.
very dear, thank you. It's a very dear devotee that we all know very well. He's met the devotees in 1995, and then he went to India, met Srila Gurudeva actually even before he set out to the West, which was in 1996. May 96, he went already in February 1996 in Mathura, met with Srila Gurudeva, came back to England, met him there again in Bath, and he had received Harinam in June 1996. Same year also went to Kartik and received Diksha on the last day of Kartik 1996. You can see the videos on YouTube where Gurudev is on Parikrama 96, and you can see this big man walking around in the Parikram. It's Yasodanandan Prabhu. He's been there on all the festivals as well. So, and he's going around doing so many different services. As you all know, he's doing the Zoom. As you all know, probably in Navadvip, the big, huge temple that's there, the Kirtan hall is called Yasodanandan Bhavan. I remember putting on the banner. That's because Prabhuji helped creating that temple hall, and he helped so many books, so many different things of Srila Gurudev. He helped manifesting and is still manifesting for us today. So without much more, I present you Yasodanandan Prabhu.
Thanks, Ram. Oh, I've already set my own clock, so hang on. Okay. Om Gyan Tinamandasya Gyanjalaslakya Chakshoimanitamina Tashmai Shri Guru Namaha Vanchakapatrupascha Kripasinduevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishabhavyo Namanamaha Chinadapi Sunichinataro Saishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtan Sadahari Tatena Kampam Susamikshamano Bunjanavetma Kritam Vipkam Hitvak Papadevidam Namaste Jivatayo Mukti Sadaya Bhak Anya Palasata Sunyam Gyang Kamadhyana Vritam Anu Kalinya Krishna Shiram Bhakti Uttama Jai Guru Jai Prabhupada Jai Sarupa Rupanuga Guruvad Jai Ragatas Goswami Jai Rupa Goswami Jai Nitai Jai Garanga Jai Jai Shishi Radha Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Please accept my humble obeisances to the entire parampara, my Srila Gurudev, and all the beautiful assembled devotees. It's been such a beautiful day to share with you. So I'd like to present Srila Gurudev by saying that we cannot fully understand Srila Gurudev unless we understand him within the context of parampara. Because everything in Krishna consciousness, we talk about Braj Prem, we talk about Braj, we talk about moods, but everything is built upon Sambandha. It's built upon the relationships that we all have with one another, with Guru, the Guru has with his Guru, and so on and so forth. I love the meaning of Sambandha. The etymological meaning of Sambandha is bandha, to bound, to bind, two personalities, to sun, to an infinite extent, such that two persons can be still distinct as personalities, but one of heart. This is what it is to be fully sambandhic. And Gurudev's role in the parampara, as beautifully expressed by Guru Sundar, is unique. And what's amazing about each acharya, and why I think through our journey in Krishna consciousness, we each at different points, we become inspired in a connection with a personality who's in Apperance Lila. And each one we realize has a different mood and a different specialism, and yet it all reconciles in one transcendental orchestra. And one of the specialisms of Gurudev is his focus on sadhya. I remember back in 1996, although I could never have explained it in this way because, I mean, I just knew nothing. I didn't even know the words, so I was just saying gal gal goo goo really. But I was conscious of this Manjari Bhav element, this sadhya, right back in 96, even though I didn't have a clue what it was all about. And it's so brilliant because it's meant that everything he's ever taught me, either directly or indirectly through the books, the shastras, the classes, everything through the shiksha gurus I've had, through the teachers I've had, it's all gone in a beautiful direction because his specialism, Gurudev's specialism, or one of his specialisms is sadhya, the goal. So in the material world, for example, we have parents, and our parents have a goal for us. They want us to be successful. So they make sure we're well fed and they make sure we're educated. They have a goal for us, and everything is tailored towards that goal. In the material world, we go from one species to another, one human body to another. We're trying to find happiness. It's a forlorn effort, but we try to find happiness. That is what we think is our purpose. And everything is then tailored towards the achievement of that happiness. And of course, it fails because it's Maya. But even in the material world, everything is governed by purpose. This is what Gurudev is saying, is that if you want to be transcendently situated, you have to know what your goal is. So we know at one very simplistic level that our goal is, the objective is to serve Sri Krishna. So when Krishna came and orchestrated the Mahabharata and the battle of Kurukshetra, he came to establish a Yugadam. He came to establish, I'm not this body. He came to establish Atmadam. And then after the wars were over, he inspired Sukadev Goswami to narrate the Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit and establish Krishna Prem as the goal. And he explained, and as Prabhupada explained, even in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains the 5 rasas, the Shanta ras, the Dasya ras, the Sakya ras, the Vatsalya ras, the Madhurya ras, all covered by Maya. So this was established. But then came Mahaprabhu, another level of specialism. This is what Gurudev is teaching us. And he came to explain to us, to reveal to us, to educate us in Gopi Prem. Because Mahaprabhu, he's ultimate in compassion. And he just cannot tolerate the suffering of the jivas. So he came to give us Unata Ujvala Ras. He came to give us the very highest pinnacle of devotion. In the Venu Gita, there's a beautiful quote. It says, wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue kanikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vajanti garland. Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints, and he filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. And at the time, the gopis, what were they doing? Well, some were sleeping, some were decorating themselves, and some were making chapatis. I don't know if they were rolling them or cooking them, but maybe both. And Krishna's flute sounds entered the door of their hearts, and he forcibly took their hearts. And the gopis thought, oh, Krishna's such a thief, please return our hearts. So Krishna thought, oh, I have to satisfy these gopis. They love me so much, which was what precipitated the rasa dance. But in the rasa dance, Srimati Radharani sees Krishna dancing with every gopi. And she suddenly thought, oh, he's just a debauchee. He's a liar, a thief, a debauchee. So she disappears. And as she disappears, Krishna sees this. And he says to her, he tries to placate her. He says, I promise I will not offend you anymore. Be pleased with me, Krishna says to Radharani. Be merciful to me. So he takes his flute and peacock feathers and places them in her hands. And he says the following words. You are my master. You can use me in any way. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 32nd chapter, text 32, Krishna says, I'm not able to repay my debt for your spotless service. Even within a lifetime of Brahma, your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. And with these words, Radhika became pacified and satisfied. So the gopis inquired. He said, well, there are different kinds of love. There's love where if someone loves me, I love them. And then there's love where you love the person whether they love you or not. And then there's love where you're loved and you don't love anyone. So there's these three kinds of love. They said to Krishna, well, which kind of love do you represent exactly? They're being transcendently tricky. Of course, Krishna is transcendently even trickier. But he says, I'm these people where you only love in equal measure to how you're being loved. They're just businessmen lovers. I'm not one like that. Those lovers that love even when they're not loved, you're like that. But also the third type, those that don't love in return, I'm not like that. Those ones that don't love in return, there are several types, 4 types of those. There's the Atmaranas, the Aptikamas, the Gurudevas, and the Akritasyas. So those that are self-satisfied, those that are fully satisfied, those that give suffering to their superiors, and those that are ungrateful. Krishna says, I'm not Atmaran because I want to please you. And he says, I'm not Aptikam because my desires aren't fulfilled. And I'm not Guru Doki or Akritasya because I'm grateful both to my friends and to my parents. So I'm none of those. He says, I want to glorify you throughout the whole world. I can never repay you, he says. And the gopis have said, you have repaid us because you have taken shelter at our lotus feet. And you are saying, I'm defeated by you. And the gopis said, that's what we wanted. And this is Unatrala Ras. And it's topmost in Radharani's Mahabhav. And the fraction of Srimati Radhika's mood to please Krishna should be our objective. Otherwise, Krishna cannot be controlled. So it's not the mood in itself that is our object. We serve those who have this mood. And this is what the mood of the mandirs is. And this is the sadhya that Gurudev has given us. That's why we're Radhadasyas. How? Our question is, how shall we serve Radha in Karis? Which brought me to a kind of a conclusion of a practical application. So I was thinking often how as devotees, there's a great earnestness in devotees. We want to get it right. We want to do good. We also know that the goal is very lofty and very high, and we often feel very unworthy. So we struggle with this relationship between endeavor and mercy because we feel that essentially, there's part of our conditioning that creates God in the image of our own consciousness. In other words, we are conditional lovers. We are not very good at loving. We conditionally love others and we conditionally love ourselves. So in our darker moods, we create God in the image of ourselves, who is conditional, but God is not conditional. The flow of Shakti comes from Radharani. Radharani flows through Nityananda Prabhu to Guru. And from Guru comes grace. And from grace comes taste, which engenders greed. And from greed comes enthusiasm. And that's what makes us want to serve. But if we are always coming from, oh, I ought to, of course we need to serve, that's without question. But what I wanted to presence is that grace from Radha is always available to us all the time through Guru. Is so benign, benefic, infinite, powerful, soft, and yet strong, always accessible to us, whatever the circumstance. Grace herself defeats death. If we can access that grace, then even when we're feeling weak in our endeavors, it can flow through into our consciousness and engender the inspiration that can help pick us up from the floor and get back on the horse again. And that's what I wanted to presence today, because that feeling I've had in terms of applying this to my own life comes from Srila Gurudev's focus on sadhya, that everything comes from wanting to serve the moods of those Brajbasis who have the topmost mood towards the service of Radha and Krishna. So I'm very, very grateful to everybody. I'm going to wrap up now. I just want to say some thank yous. I want to say a special big, big thank you to Srila Gurudev for just even enabling us to have access to this paradigm of spiritual transcendental activity. It's extraordinary when you think the chances of, I think Sundar said, winning the lottery. I mean, you win a lottery being a human being, let alone being a devotee, let alone being a follower of Prabhupada and Gurudev. It's just extraordinary. And I wanted to say a big thank you to Yashodhari, who's my sort of co-Zoomer, always an amazing person to serve with. Very grateful to her. So grateful to our beautiful MCs, Ramananda Prabhu, beautiful, to Nalini Radha, always lively and sprightly, to our dear Nrsingadev in America, to Yashodhari again, who MC'd. I think I covered all the MCs. Did I miss anyone else out, Ram? And a big thank you to all the beautiful Kirtaniers. We're going to have 2 Kirtans in a moment, one from Nalini Didi, and then we're going to have an amazing one where we're going to go to Hawaii and India. I'm not quite sure in which order, but it's Narahari and Bhavatarini, husband and wife, and we're going to have a transcendental sort of whole planet Kirtan sort of epic in a moment. So a big thank you to the Kirtaniers. And yes, I think, and of course, most of all, thank you to the incredible speakers, 32 speakers, and of such high quality. I feel that throughout the whole year, it's almost like you've been cooking a meal through your sadhana and through your seva, and you come up and we've tasted the prasadam today because it's been extraordinary. So thank you to all the beautiful speakers, and not least, thank you to everybody who's participated with their Shravan, because without the people listening, there would be no Harikatha, which also helps later because this is all on record, so people can tune into this later. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I'm now going to hand over to Nalini Didi, who'll do her kirtan, and then we'll go. I won't interject between you and Narahari and Bhavatarini. We'll go straight from you to Narahari and Bhavatarini. Hare Bol. Thanks it's very late there, Nalini. Thank you.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Yeah, it is late. but I'm also preparing for tomorrow. So yeah, it's going to be a late night. And tomorrow also, I'm sure everyone around the world is celebrating and just honoring Gurudev on his Vyasa Puja and remembering him. So yeah, yeah, I'm just gonna do some kirtan. Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone. It was really nice to hear everyone's glorifications, and it really touched my heart. Yeah, so thank you. There were so many kirtans to sing for Gurudev, but I would like to sing the Australian tune just because he really liked that tune, and we can all think back to parikram time, or even just in the festivals, when everybody would sing together the Australian tune, the men and the women, and could just remember him and meditate on him. So I'll just offer my obeisances. Om Agyanatimirandhasya Ginangina Shalakaya Chakshuruminitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namayom Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Iti Namine. Namayom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudev तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो, जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो, जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो, जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, स्वागतम गुरुदेव, सुस्वागतम गुरुदेव, सुस्वागतम गुरुदेव, शरणागतम गुरुदेव, स्वागतम सुस्वागतम शरणागतम गुरुदेव, स्वागतम सुस्वागतम शरणागतम गुरुदेव, सुस्वागतम गुरुदेव, सुस्वागतम गुरुदेव, सुस्वागतम गुरुदेव, सुस्वागतम गुरुदेव। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, जय गुरुदेवा श्रील नारायण गोस्वामी जय गुरुदेवा, श्रील नारायण गोस्वामी जय गुरुदेवा, गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा, श्रील भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी, भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी, श्रील वामन गोस्वामी जय गुरुदेवा, देविकं गोस्वामी जय गुरुदेवा, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Parampara Guru Parampara, Parampara Guru Parampara, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
You feel like you're on your own there, Nalini.
I don't know if everybody fell asleep.
No, that was beautiful. No, I didn't. No one fell asleep, Nalini. It was beautiful. Really nice. And your I see your top matches the background. That's very good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because I haven't worn this color for ages, and it's like the first Zoom program, you know, since
Just
COVID.
worked out.
It's
Yeah,
matching
beautiful.
the background.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'm very excited for the program in Islington. Okay, so what are we doing in Hawaii and in Vrindavan? What's the show? Bhavatarini, you going first?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, is that an
yes.
executive decision?
Yes. It's Narahari Prabhu's decision.
It's his decision. Okay, so you're first. So over to Vrindavan, to our beloved god sister, disciple of Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srimati Bhavatarini Didi. Hari Bol, over to you, Didi. And then after you, Narahari, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So, Dandavats, everyone. Hari Bol. Please forgive me for any offenses. I'm going to sing a song in English that Srila Gurudev asked me to write, and I'm leaving some of his lines in the song. And it's from Gita Govinda. Om Agina Taranjasha Gina Gina Shlakaya Chakshur Unmilitanjina Tajmaye Shri Gurave Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachane Nivasesha Sunivari Paschachate Shatani Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmae Shri Sriman Bhaktivedanta Narayan Iti Namane. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Please hear my petition, please accept my defeat. Bowing my head humbly at your rose-colored feet. Shine your sweet smile on me. Shine your sweet smile on me. Let me drink the nectar of your bright moonlight face. Take me back into your arms and your heart's embrace. Like a lotus stem with two blossoms. We are two together, we are one. We are just like two, but with one breath. Without your love, it will be my death. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Placing my beloved flute and crown at your feet. Without your love's glance, my life cannot be complete. Rain your love's glance on me. Rain your love's glance on me. Please forgive me. I will never wrong you again. Please forgive me. I will never do that again. We are just like two, but with one soul. Without your love, I cannot be whole. We are just like two, but with one soul. Without your love, I cannot be whole. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Smara Karala Kandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Pavalam Udaram Smara Karala Kandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Pavalam Udaram. This amorous love rages within my heart deeply. It's terrifying, poisonous, pain is deadly. Please extinguish this pain. Please extinguish this pain. Only your flower blossom feet have the power to counteract this fatal burning of your love's fire. Please be kind, save me before I'm dead. Place your beautiful feet on my head. Use your feet to decorate my head. Allow your feet to decorate my head. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya, Jaya Deva Hari. Jaya Radhe, 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 Jaya Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo, all glories to Sri Sriman Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Maharaj. Panchakalpa Triyascha Kripa Sindhu Cheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hari Bo.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhavatarini.
everyone.
Thank you so much. So we're going to go, gosh, 5, 10, 15 time zones one way, or 9 time zones the other way to your husband. So Nihari, where are you? I'm sort of getting physically giddy coordinating this around the planet. Where's Nihari? Who's the organizer of all the equipment, Bhavatarini? Is it you? Is he struggling without you there? Prabhuji, you there? Where is Nihari? We can't finish without Nihari.
My goodness, I don't know. He's thousands of miles away from me.
I'm trying to find him actually.
Maybe he didn't wake up. Or no, it's daytime there. I don't know.
I'm not going to give up on him. I'm going to call him actually.
Okay, maybe there's no internet.
Oh, he's gonna sing. It's gonna happen.
I missed Mangalarti. Oh,
Are you in Vrindavan right now?
I'm in Vrindavan, and I missed the whole morning program. But this was morning program. This was so
Well,
beautiful.
thank you. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna call him now. Danvats, your dear wife has just finished, and we're seeking you here and there.
I saw it all. I'm in it. I try to press on it.
Oh, what's your name online?
Maybe it's Negenson.
Let me find you. Oh,
Must be George Negenson.
okay, I'm looking for you.
Try hang up on the no.
No. Just stay there. So you're not on that one. Where are you gone? Can you put your video on?
Yes, my video was on. I could see everything. I saw her, you.
It's not under Narahari.
No, it's under George something.
Jorge, Jorge, Negenson.
Okay, I'm looking. Come on. Where are you? Come on, Hawaii. George. Are you sure you're in the right program, Prabhu?
Yes.
I can't find you anywhere. Where are you?
No George in the list.
Okay.
George with
maybe
the J.
the 808 number. Good one, Ju. Okay. What's the 808 number?
808-282-4999.
Okay, that is you, but where is that number? What's he talking about?
+1-808.
Yeah, I think that is Jiva. That is the one. But what does it say 808 on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, what am I missing here? What am I missing? Still can't see him.
The number just disappeared.
Prabhu, you there? Yeah. Okay, are you online? Because we can't see you. Come back on.
Should he leave and come back and see if that works?
Do you think you're in Zoom at the moment, Narahari?
I got cut off on it.
Okay.
His number disappeared from the screen.
Okay, come back in, Prabhu. I can see you. You are 808-2824. Got it. So I'll ask you to.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're there. Beautiful. Go for it. You just need to put your video on and unmute yourself. Well done.
Yay.
Prabhu, you need to unmute yourself, okay? So,
Hello?
perfect. Great, go for it.
Yay.
But I can't hear myself on it. Okay. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, yeah, go for it.
Okay. How about so, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachari Satarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyadmane Sisi Mad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Niti Namine. I'm humbly beg forgiveness for any mistakes that might occur. And I'm transmitting from the room that Srila Gurudev, he's a Prabhupada too. Srila Gurudev wrote so many pages of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's synopsis on Srimad Bhagavatam. He also gave initiation to many devotees, among them Lalita, Devi, Prabhu, and anyhow, it's very hard today. It's just so many remembrances coming about, just walking around, doing my gardening. And there is a chili plant that we had. Now we had the baby of that plant. And one day Gurudev here from the balcony, we called an eye, he pointed out, said, you see that plant there? He was telling us to Bhavatarini, that plant gives prem. He was always with a straight face. He always got me. And he said, yes, you take it and your eyes start crying and you choking and you can't speak. You see, that's the plant that gives you prem. And so, but he gave us so much more from here that went around the planet. I think it's going around the universe. Like Vrindavan Das Thakur says, in the future Srimad Bhagavatam, all the names of the devotees, the most intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be named. And I'm sure it will be our Gurudev, our Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj, my Guru, my Diksha Gurudev, and like that, Srila Prabhupada. Here you go. So I'm singing something that we all accustomed to sing, and it's Gurudev clarified it for me that Guru is there is singular and plural or dual in Sanskrit, and Guru means both to the Diksha and Shiksha Gurudev. So here it goes. Saradava Alalida Loka Anaya Karuna Gana Rajasya Kalyana Arnavasya Vande Guru Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nritya Gita Adikramadya Manasura Manchakampas Tarangabatu Vande Guru Siddhihara Ananityanana Singaratam Mandi Amatanado Tasavatam Vande Guru Chaturvidasri Bhagavad Prasado Sadhana Tirthan Harimatasana Deva Vande Guru Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Chaturvidasin Bhagavad Prasado Sadhana Tirthan Harivatasana Deva Tasadeva Vande Guru Sri Sri Radhika Madhavayurapadam Madhujalila Gunarubana Rateshanasa Masa Vande Guru Sri Ikunda Juno Atikelisida Daya Didi Appreciate Alamasa Vande Guru Ashadaritena Samasta Shastra Athatava Yata Vivasa Ya Vivatas Vande Guru Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Ayasya Sasri Sandha Vande Guru Sri Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Bhaktivedanta Narayana Bhaktivedanta Narayana Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Deva Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Deva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Bhajan Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadada, Srivasari Gaura, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Sachi Radhe, Radhe Shyam. Radha Gopinatha Radha, Gopinatha Radha, Gopinatha Radhe Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe Jaya, Radha Adana Mohan Nitai go, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai go, Haribo, Nitai go, Haribo, 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 Oh, glories to assemble the Lord.
Yeah, Hari Bol. I'm going to stop the recording so everyone can just hang out.